Only a small percentage of the global population has any idea what's really happening with XRP right now. But if you're watching this, you're already ahead of the curve. Today, we're diving into one of the most timely and important updates for the XRP community. A new price prediction for May 2025 that we're not just throwing numbers around. This is about understanding the current structure of the market, the technical signals we're getting, the macroeconomic backdrop, and most importantly, how this all converges in what could be a pivotal month for X, our P.AS of today. XRP is trading at around $2.12, following a general trend of mild correction across the crypto market. Just weeks ago, it was testing $3.40. Now, all eyes are on the Federal Reserve's FOMC meeting, taking place today, and the press conference that will follow, where Chairman Jerome Powell will provide key guidance. Will this be the month the Fed finally signals a shift in its monetary policy? So far, not a single rate cut has been implemented in 2025. That could change, and if it does, the implications for crypto will be massive. But let's bring it back to XRP. Analysts have laid out several possible price paths for the month of May, based on current market structure and Fibonacci support zones. The first key level to watch is $1.70. That's the major support zone, the floor that bulls are watching closely. Below that, there's very little technical protection. But above that, a breakout zone begins to emerge that in the bullish case, if momentum shifts and sentiment improves, driven by favorable Fed policy or regulatory clarity in the U.S. XRP could retest the $2.35 level quickly, possibly reaching $2.70 as an average target. If momentum holds, the upper boundary is projected at $3, a level that would represent a full recovery to this year's prior peak, in the bearish case. However, further macroeconomic uncertainty or negative outcomes from today's meeting could pull XRP back toward that $1.70 support, with an average correction zone around $1.90. In this scenario, we'd see the market continue its cool down, particularly if Bitcoin and the broader crypto space remain under pressure. But there's a third and perhaps more likely scenario: a continued consolidation. In this case, XRP would remain range-bound, trading between $2 and $2.35 for most of the month. This would reflect a market that is waiting for regulatory clarity, waiting for ETF approval, waiting for institutional green lights to move. That's the phase we're in, transition. Not quite bearish, not fully bullish, but preparing. And speaking of institutional green lights, let's not forget what's brewing behind the scenes. The SEC's Crypto Regulation Task Force has scheduled its next roundtable for May 12th. That event could deliver long-awaited clarity on stablecoins and digital asset policy. The outcome of that meeting, paired with any follow-up comments from Jerome Powell today, could radically shift expectations. If the Fed even hints at rate cuts for June, markets will respond, and XRP, already under heavy accumulation by whales, could surge. And don't ignore the technicals. On the daily chart, XRP is showing signs of turning upward again after forming multiple descending channels. Historically, XRP has broken out hard after these kind of setups. In fact, we saw that exact pattern back in November, when XRP shot up from 50 cents to $3.40 in under 2 months. That happened without ETFs, without lawsuit resolution, and without full ISO 20022 activation. So imagine what could happen with those catalysts, and Play.ETF approval is still on the horizon. Institutional interest is growing. We've seen confirmed purchases by funds like Teucrium in the US and consistent inflows into XRP ETPs in Europe. Just this past week, over $10.5 million flowed into XRP investment products, surpassing inflows into Solana, Cardano, and even Sway. That's not noise. That's signal.s. Oh, let me give you my take, based on the macro view, technical structure, and market psychology. Unless we see major market-wide panic, I don't expect XRP to fall below $2 this month. That's been a firm psychological and technical support. Every time we've tested that floor, prices bounce quickly. In contrast, a bullish run toward $2.60 or even $3 is absolutely on the table, especially if we get a dovish pivot from the Fed or a breakthrough in crypto regulation in the U.S. At the end of the day, we're not just watching numbers on a screen, we're witnessing the slow and steady formation of a new financial system. Less than 7% of the global population owns crypto. An even smaller slice holds XRP. We're still early, and that matters. So, what do you think will happen this month? Will XRP hold above $2? Will the Fed finally make its move? Let me know in the comments. And don't forget to stay tuned for updates right after today's FOMC meeting, because May might just be the turning point.